What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $600 second stimulus check update and your $2,000 third stimulus check update. We're going to be talking about stimulus checks, executive orders, and kind of proceedings that are going to be happening over the next few days regarding stimulus checks and when they're going to come out and what's going to happen with the Senate to get these bills passed. Yeah, we have a lot of information already starting to come out here now as we're about 48 hours away from Inauguration Day. We're getting new information about executive orders and different packages they want to pass and all sorts of information. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos regarding upcoming stimulus checks and packages and rental assistance and Social Security increases and all sorts of big news. And hit the like button for us down below. It really helps out our channel. All right, let's jump right into it. Okay, surprisingly still enough, the Democrats have not committed to the impeachment timeline after they passed the impeachment in the U.S. House of Representatives. They still at this point have not sent it over to the Senate. Once they send it to the Senate has 24 hours to start proceedings on the impeachment trial in the Senate. And Nancy Pelosi is being kind of weird here, kind of crazy. Yeah, she's holding on to the documents and not sending them to the Senate, which is very kind of strange. In fact, let me know if you think you know what Nancy Pelosi is up to and why she might be delaying the impeachment proceedings on President Donald Trump. You would think from the Democrats' point of view that they'd want to push that through as fast as possible before Trump's term is over, but I really don't know what she's doing. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. A new poll is out which shows us just how divided our nation is. Impeachment is only supported by 8% of Republicans, which is very, very different from the 89% of Democrats who support the second impeachment. So 89% of Democrats support impeaching President Donald Trump for the second time, and only 8% of Republicans support that. Now, in the middle, independents, which is where I would consider myself, 45% of independents support impeaching President Donald Trump, which really just kind of shows you how divided we are right now. It's a miracle they get anything done in Congress with being how divided they are. Kind of the weird thing is that now that the Republicans have just kind of lost control of the situation now that the Democrats have control of the House and soon to be the Senate and soon to be the presidency. Let me show you what Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who is going to become the Senate Majority Leader, says about that transition process and passing stimulus bills when he takes over majority lead.
2 points I left out. This plan, of course, is very good for New York, but it's very much needed from one end of America to the other. The whole country is hurting. This is a crisis. We must step up to the plate. President Biden has stepped up. President-elect Biden has stepped up to that plate. And when I become majority leader, which will be on Wednesday, I'll be able to help him get this plan done, and I'll be able to, working with Senator Gillibrand and the New York delegation, help New York get the help it needs. Okay? Now I have I'm going to just read a statement, or not read it, but talk about a statement on appointments. As I mentioned, we have the greatest healthcare crisis in 100 years, the greatest economic crisis in 75 years, and of course we all saw what happened at the Capitol on January 6th. So we're facing large national and homeland security challenges. We need people in office quickly, and I would hope that our Republican colleagues would join us in putting Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Homeland Security, Secretary of State, Attorney General, and others in office ASAP. Given the crises in this country, we cannot wait. And when President Trump was president, on the first day, both Defense and Homeland Security were put into office. We Democrats supported that happening. We need cooperation. I hope we'll get it because the needs are very important. Okay? Questions first on what Senator Gillibrand and I talked about. On the rescue plan.
you have a majority or a bipartisan majority, but we don't have a veto approved by filibuster-proof supermajority. How worried are you about getting this all passed?
Well, we hope we can get bipartisan support for this plan. President-elect Biden has suggested that. But this plan is very, very important, and we have to get it passed one way or the other.
On appointments, the president-elect has said he wants to bifurcate things regarding impeachment and other matters. How possible do you think that is?
Well, I hope we can do that, and that is, I would agree that that is important. And we're working with our Republican colleagues to try and come up with a bifurcated plan. You need more or less unanimous agreement to do it. Well, it's tremendous responsibility, and there's so many things we have to do to make this country better. We have to recover from all of the detritus that the Trump administration has left, but even more important than that, we have to recover from the COVID crisis and then move America forward so that every working person, every family, every person in America feels they have a real chance to advance. That feeling hasn't been very strong in the American people over the last while, and we must do everything we can in our power to restore it.
Is it especially becoming majority leader with a Democrat in the White House?
Well, I'm glad Joe Biden's in the White House either way, but the bottom line is I will, as majority leader, I'll try to help him get his agenda done. Okay?
Now, Joe Biden has already announced 2 different stimulus packages. The first one, we know the details of most of it, $1.9 trillion, stimulus checks that are going to raise your $600 check up to $2,000. It's called a $2,000 plus up check. This basically adds an additional $1,400 onto your checks for adults and $1,400 checks for children this time around, which is a huge increase compared to the $500 to $600 checks that children got in the past. In fact, this is the largest check we've gotten yet because the first stimulus check was $1,200. These are $1,400 for adults, and children only got $500 to $600, and this will be $1,400 for children also. And the really big news is that adult dependents are included in this. This basically, if you're a dependent on somebody's tax return, but you're an adult, you didn't get a stimulus check the first or second time around. This package will correct that and will give you at least $1,400. And there's been a lot of talk and a lot of chatter because we don't know the exact details of this yet. Is they may actually include the first and second stimulus checks in addition to the third one for the adult dependents. So $3,200 is a possibility for adult dependents, with kind of the lowest case scenario being $1,400. So that is really good news for adult dependents. On child support, we don't know the details of that. I'm already getting a lot of people that ask me that because the first stimulus check, the child support went to the person that the money was owed to. And the second stimulus check, the person who owed the money got to keep it. On the third one, we simply do not know those details yet. I will keep you updated as well. There's all sorts of different buckets of money in this package. And then there's another package coming as soon as February called the infrastructure package, which will have stimulus, all sorts of different stimulus things in there. But in this package will be a increase of unemployment, an extension to September 30th for unemployment boost money, and they're going to raise it from $300 to $400 per week, which is really good for anybody that's lost their job. There's another $30 billion for rental assistance in there, which is really good news because we have $25 billion still in process right now that's going out to states right now. The states will be giving you guys that money in the form of rental assistance and mortgage assistance to help you pay your mortgage and rent. A lot of states are going to be doing up to 12 months. It's really going to depend on how much money each state gets and how much population they get. A lot of the old rental assistance stimulus programs are going to be reopening back up. So if you know of any rental assistance programs in your state where you got it previously, check their websites maybe once a day or once every 2 days. They're going to be reopening back up. They'll probably say they're closed now, but they're going to be getting new money here within the next few days. And so there's $25 billion in rental assistance that you guys will be able to claim. buckets. I call them different buckets of money. 25 billion there, and then another 30 billion dollars in this third stimulus check package, the 1.9 trillion dollar package. And yeah, there's all sorts of things. He's going to be passing presidential executive orders, dozens of them, he says, Joe Biden says, within his first 10 days of office. Let me show you what Joe Biden says regarding this and rental assistance.
Approximately 14 million Americans are falling behind on rent, many at risk of eviction. If we don't act now, there'll be a wave of evictions and foreclosures in the coming months as the pandemic rages on. This would overwhelm emergency shelters, increase COVID-19 infections as people have nowhere to go and can't socially distance. Next week, we'll take action to extend nationwide restrictions on evictions and foreclosures. This will provide more than 25 million Americans greater stability instead of living on the edge every single month. And I'm asking Congress to do its part by funding rental assistance for 14 million hard-hit families and tenants. It will also be a bridge to economic recovery for countless mom-and-pop landlords.
In last night's 11 p.m. video, I detailed a whole bunch of information about what we know right now from Biden's incoming White House chief of staff about the details we know regarding the presidential executive orders. I will link you to that video at the end of this video if you haven't watched and you want to know those details. You're going to be hearing a lot of details on the word reconciliation going forward. And if you've been watching this channel, you might know what this is. It also might be called budget reconciliation. And basically what this is normally you need 60 votes in the Senate to pass normal stimulus packages, bills, and just normal bills in general. However, you can use what's called the reconciliation rule several times per year. It's up for debate how many times you can use it. It's anywhere between 3 and 9, or 1 per subject. So basically, you can only use it a certain amount of times. A limited amount of times is kind of the easiest way to say this. But the Democrats will be using this rule where basically it reduces the 60 vote rule in the Senate down to 51. So they will only need 51 votes in the Senate to pass stimulus packages and bills in the future. And basically, it's a 50-50 tie right now in the new Senate with 50 Republicans and 50 Democrats. When there's a tie, then the tie-breaking vote goes to the vice president, who will be Kamala Harris, making the 51st vote. So Democrats will be able to pass stimulus checks and stimulus packages in the future without any Republican votes at all. They can literally have every single Republican vote no, and they will be able to pass bills when they use this rule. So you're going to be hearing a lot about that because that will be for subsequent stimulus checks and packages and unemployment and all the good rigmarole that you guys are watching this channel for. I don't expect them to use it for the third stimulus check package, the one with the $1,400 checks that we just discussed. I expect them to pass that here shortly after Biden is in office. But Biden is going to look for 60 votes there. He's going to try to get 10 Republican votes in the Senate because we had enough votes from the Republicans in the Senate to pass that $2,000 stimulus bill, the Cash Act, okay? We know that there was enough support to pass that, and Mitch McConnell just delayed it. Well, as you heard Chuck Schumer say, he will no longer be Senate Majority Leader now in about 48 hours. So that will no longer be the case anymore. He will no longer be able to delay bills indefinitely or table bills indefinitely or basically go off his own agenda because he won't be the majority leader. The majority leader of each house, who it's Nancy Pelosi in the House of Representatives, it's called the Speaker there, the House Speaker. They have all the power over kind of like what happens, okay? So Mitch McConnell's losing that now because they lost those 2 Senate seats in Georgia. And basically, Mitch McConnell's only going to be the minority leader now. He's only the leader of the Republicans in the Senate. And because the Republicans have lost the Senate and they lost the House again, and they now lost the presidency, that is what the Democrats call the blue wave. It's basically the presidency, the House, and the Senate. They will have that for at least 2 years until the next election. And they're going to be passing lots and lots of stimulus checks, stimulus packages, unemployment, climate change bills, all sorts of things on Joe Biden and the Democrats' agendas. So it is going to be a very interesting time. You're going to see a lot of pushback from the Republicans in future weeks and days saying, we shouldn't be spending all this money and we can't do this, we can't spend it. And the Democrats are going to say, we don't care. We're going to pass it anyways. It's not that I'm at one side or the other, but that's what's going to happen. You're gonna hear all these comments in down below in the comments saying the Republicans will never go for it, and the Democrats are going to say we don't care. We're going to pass it without them. Well, they're going to try to get the 60 votes on any bill because then they don't have to use up, say, a reconciliation vote or picture like reconciliation is like how do I say this? Like maybe you have you have 3 passes, okay? And you don't want to use the passes if you have to. You want to pass bills without it. But when you have to pass a stimulus package and none of the Republicans in the Senate want to go for it because they think you're spending too much money, then they have to use one of their passes. So they're going to try to not use their passes and probably try to negotiate a little bit, probably on this first stimulus package too, but then after they pass that one and we get to the next round of stimulus checks and stimulus packages, which is what Joe Biden says, he says stimulus checks and stimulus packages until the pandemic is over, then they're going to have to start using their free passes, their get out of jail cards, and basically be able to pass these things at will because they control the House and the Senate, and they'll be using that reconciliation rule. Now, in 2 years, this could change. I personally think it will change. I personally don't think that they will be able to hold control of the House and the Senate after the 2 years because just a lot of Republicans will want to rebel by then, and they'll probably go out to vote in record numbers, a lot more than, say, Democrats will. And really, our country's almost at a 50-50 split. So one little thing can push like more people to go vote on one side. And I personally think that the Democrats will only have these 2 years to basically be able to kind of have free reign over everything. Now, the Republicans had this back in like 2016, 2017. And the Republicans at the beginning of Trump's term, the Republicans used the reconciliation rule then in the Senate to pass the Trump tax cuts. So it's kind of like, well, you did it, so we're going to do it, but we've kind of always been doing this since the beginning of time, since this rule existed. So it's kind of like the Republicans had it with the Trump tax cuts, and now the Democrats kind of have their turn with these stimulus checks and stimulus packages. So I will be keeping you updated on the breaking news. We're going to have lots of it coming out over today and tomorrow as we lead into Inauguration Day, and we're starting to get more and more details about these packages and checks and executive orders and the impeachment and everything coming out. I will keep you updated. Make sure you're subscribed down below and click the bell icon to get all notifications. But just remember, we have new videos every day coming out at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just go on YouTube and type in It's Jimmy and watch the newest videos at those times every day. Sometimes at 11 p.m. when there's a lot of breaking news, which will be happening over the next few days as we lead up to Inauguration Day, which is in about 48 hours from now. So thanks for watching. You can click this top video here to watch more information about the executive orders coming that I did last night at 11 p.m. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.